Okay, so a few years back, I was visiting some people that I know in Bayonne, New Jersey. This was a few years back. And I had to get to a bus stop, which the bus would take me to another train, which brought me back into New York. Okay. So this was about, I don't know, 7:30 p.m. in the evening. Nice quiet day, visiting some friends at that time, and it's time to go home. And while I did get a ride in a car getting there, going home, I had to take public transportation. All right, and this was about early evening, and I think it was in late spring, if I'm not mistaken, that time of the year. So it's still fairly, it was fairly warm out. Maybe need a little sweater at night. Sometimes you do, and I'm minding my own business. And I'm walking on my way a few blocks from where I was to the bus stop. And those blocks at that time that I recall were fairly long blocks. And it was completely residential, maybe a small business here or there, but not like tall buildings or anything like of that nature in that particular area. It was all private houses and stuff like that. So I'm walking. All of a sudden, I look down, and there were like a bunch of regular leaves on the floor from trees. I don't know why. There were spring leaves, but there were spring leaves on the ground on the sidewalk. And I'm still walking. All of a sudden, I see a perfectly untouched $5 bill. Now I told you five is my lucky number, right? There was not a human being in sight. So I quickly picked it up. I said, maybe it's one of those, like those pretend $5 bills, like you see, like little paper money that people throwing around. Pretend. No, it was an actual $5 bill. I says, oh, how nice. I looked around and looked around. There wasn't a soul in sight. So I couldn't ask anybody, was this yours or whatever? And so I put it in my pocket and I went home. All right. So I'm thinking about, has this ever happened to you? Like you find some money like that? That's literally found money. So there was another story that I heard of a person that they went to some sort of a theater. And you know how like those theater seats, like how do you, they're collapsed in an upward position so as that, in other words, they're not in the sitting position. They're folded upward so that people in the theater could clean up the floor underneath the theater seats. So those, that kind of a seat, a collapsing kind of seat that falls up. The minute you stand up, it falls back. You know the kind of seat I'm referring to, like in a movie theater. All right. So that person was like one of the first people to enter that movie theater um, type place. And they saw what appeared to be look like maybe just a bunch of green napkins or whatever. They were about to sit down. And let me tell you, it was actual real money that must have slipped out of somebody else's pocket prior, that might have been sitting in that chair. Okay. So in that seat. And I, I remember it was a sizable amount. I think it was like past 50 or even 100. I don't remember the exact denomination of bills, but it was a sizable amount of money. And wow, that person again, literally, that was found money. So I want to talk to you today about some things that we must do any possible chance that we could get. When I first initially wanted to do this particular subject matter, I'm thinking, well, really, there's only one thing you could do with it, right? And then I said, no, that's not accurate. What we must do any chance possible, and it's actually two things. If you come across found money, what would you do with it? Now, in my case, what did I do with that $5? I put it in my $5 fund savings challenge. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, whenever I get a $5 bill, I like to have a little fun with them and just add them up, put them away. And then a year from the day I started it, count how many $5 bills have added up in a year. You'll be shocked and amazed that that could add up into a number of dollars very quickly, especially if you break bills, or that's part of the challenge. If you find a $5 bill in your possession, that goes right into your $5 challenge fund. And that's what I like to do. And then when the challenge is over after 12 months, I start it all over again. You'll be shocked and amazed how quickly that adds up. All right. So that's what I do with my $5 that was found money. But I also believe that if you find some money besides savings, there is one other thing that one could consider doing with it. Put the majority of it away in savings and put a percentage of it towards something fun for yourself. I think this would be very encouraging for savers, especially for people who don't have that opportunity to save too much. So let's say that the person found $50, like what happened. Let's call it $50. What that person found stuck in that chair cushion at that theater. Wow. Oh, my word. So let's say that person found that $50 unexpectedly, of course, was literally found money. What would you say they could do? Well, they could consider putting $40 away in savings and maybe buying a special food treat for themselves or for their family. Maybe they could find a decent type of a piece of meat or maybe go over to that big box store and pick up one of those big box store pizzas. I hear they're very quite good. And for the price they charge for such a humongous pizza, and it looks really good. I have not had it directly, but I heard very, very, very good reports about that kind of a pizza. So you see where I'm going with this. Put the majority of it away into savings and take a percentage out. I might have mentioned, I believe yes, I did mention that recently I overheard someone mention that an expert said that every single time, now this is the expert in their own particular financial journey. Okay, they're on a mission to save and to have specific thing to do with whatever they're doing. But every time that person receives an income, a paycheck of some sort, okay, they take 3%. I wasn't sure if it was 3 or 5. And then when I looked it up, the person takes 3% of their earned income and they turn it into a mad, crazy money thing. Well, that's what I call it because for definition's sake, they buy it, a treat, anything they want, no questions asked, whatever it is that they are desiring to do with that 3%. So let's say a person gets $1,000, right? What's 3%? What's 3% of $1,000? That would be what? $30, if my math is correct. So for every $1,000 that person gets, that person would actually separate $30 to do whatever on earth heart desire that person wants to do with their $30. I think there's something good to be said about that because it gives them not only the money, to save money, the opportunity to save, but also that little other motivation that I think everyone needs. Everyone needs to see some type of a result, some type of reward for their effort. It's important. Do you remember when you were a child and you were in school, and let's say that you did very well on a spelling test or a written assignment of some sort or a homework assignment, and if you had the kind of teacher that went around with those gold star stickers and you got the gold star on big gold star sticker on your work, did it not feel amazing? Yes. We learn at an early age. And by the way, I love when teachers do that. I used to do that myself. I believe it's very important to show the children at, like right in front of them, like how amazingly they accomplished. And they got that little recognition for it. But that means so much. I remember as a child, I loved seeing those, gold stars or stickers or rubber stamps and all the fun stuff and it keeps one motivated. So I do believe that we must do this any chance possible. And yeah, it is actually two things. So, especially in a situation where you have literally found money, or let's say that money comes into your life through a gift or at a birthday or a just because kind of monetary gift, whatever. I do believe that to practice those two activities at that time, you really feel more motivated to continue. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate everybody's time. I hope you're enjoying these bonus uploads. Thank you. Let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget, every single day regularly, I come on every single day at 5 a.m. That means every day. And that also includes Saturday and Sunday. All right. Take good care of yourself and your amazing family. Remember, super chat, super thanks, always welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.